Hello, everybody, and welcome to the new day of my 30-day project. There is not much going on today. We are doing the Wednesday, third day of Strongest Governor, which is another roulette day. We got this Blooming Heart events going on, which is a special pop-up event where we're trying to attack that big flower thing in the middle. Let me show it to you. That thing there. Typically, your bear pit formation works best on this thing. So just use that when you're attacking it, and you should do fine. It's got similar events to pretty much other events in the past. So I'm not going to talk about it too much. We're currently doing the Buccaneers bounty as well right now. This is one of those cool events that we get every about 2 months or so. Damn it, and I can't seem to get into it right now. There we go, because I keep clicking wrong. Anyway, you get these keys. You can buy some, or you can get them from the Harbor Drill days. And as long as you can complete these tasks every day, you'll get a couple of keys that you can use for opening up these chests. You get 3 refreshes a day for free, and then it'll cost you 90 keys to refresh after that. I tend to only go for the red and blue chests because there's chest odds. Which, if you look down here, you got Splendid Test, Exquisite Test, and Regular Chest. And in a regular chest, the chance for getting 100 of these pearls, which is really what you need, is 0.3%. And then you come up here, it comes to 0.5%. And you come up here and it's 2%. So those red chests have a 2% chance of giving you a bunch of pearls. And the other rewards, they go up and down depending on the rarity of your chest too. So I don't recommend doing more than your 3 refreshes and spending those keys to do that. I don't recommend opening all chests unless you're like a super whale and you don't really care and you're just going for these chests up top here. Every chest gives you 1 point, so you'd have to open 500 chests during the event to get that last one. Which, opening one chest costs 60 of your keys. So if you open every chest on the screen, that's 450 keys, and you would get 9 points. So when you do these packs here, they go progressively higher in cost. And I do not recommend doing that unless you're a whale, just because it does get costly to do it. And you could get these rewards for the season 4 widgets for a lot cheaper than you would doing the event. However, the good thing about doing the event, if you're going to spend like that, is if you don't have them yet, you can get 2 March skins and a city skin as well. And there are some other decent rewards in here. You got some fairly cheaply priced advanced taming marks. You have a chance to get some enhancement EXP. There are some like general hero shards in here. You can get up to 200 season 4 widgets. Most people go for the widgets. These are some pretty cheaply priced forge hammers as well. So you got some options in here. And there are a lot of things that are pretty cheaply priced in here. True gold for only 2 is pretty good for those early days in the game. The only thing is the difference between like the Buccaneers bounty and this like pop-up thing is the pop-up thing actually has mithril, which you can see I only need 1 more mithril to finish out the entire buy list for mithril in this event. So you definitely want to focus on what you need and not really what, just maxing out stuff in the event. And widgets are easy to get there for free-to-play people, but as a free-to-play person, you're not going to have access to all the keys anyway, so definitely don't use more than the 3 free refreshes, and definitely open only your gold and your blue chests. So I wanted to talk about that real quick. I'm going to do a part 2 video after this, and it's going to be like active bear pit like gameplay. But before I go to that, I'm going to show you how I set up my squads for bear pit. So this is my main bear pit squad, and I use the Frackinator app that tells me that this should be the ratio I'm using for my team to get the most damage out of them. So I'm going to save that to my team 2. I always use team 1 for my combat teams. And then I'm going to go through all of these, and I'm going to just kind of set up a joiner kind of list. I'm going to start with my strongest joiner or whatever, and I'm just going to add in my weakest heroes to help them, because they're all level 80, so they're going to be able to do stuff. And rather than using my joiner ratio, I'm going to use a standard joiner ratio of like what's average for people, which would be this 22672. Now this is because, like I said in the previous video, I am above TG3, I'm TG5, so my cavalry do a decent amount of damage in most people's rallies. As long as they're not super focused on just archers, it should do fine. And I'm going to save each of these formations with the joiners that I need. So we're going to use Yian Wu as well, and we just put him in, so we're going to go with this guy. We just put him in, so we're going to go with this guy. So we're going to save this one as well as 22672, save that to spot 4. And just to make sure, we did not use the cavalry blue hero, so we're going to use that one next. So we're going to grab Amani. We're going to grab the blue cavalry hero. And then we already used the 2 blue ones, so we're going to go with Howard here. We're going to save that one to 5. So now we got 2, 3, 4, and 5. We still have a joiner we can use here, which is Chenko. And we've already used all of those. So we're going to go with the next one, which is Quinn. And then we're going to go with the next one, which is Helga. And now we got this one, save to 6. So now I've run out of joiners I can use that are the most efficient joiners, but there are some less efficient joiners. One of those less efficient joiners is Hildy, so I'm going to use her because she does have an attack stat as her joiner skill. It's just less than other people's. And I'm going to give her Diana and him, Eric. Set it up the same way again, and this is one I'm not going to send to somebody who is a top damager in the rallies. Alright, now I do have other formations I can use, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit an empty one and do the same thing and save that. And the reason I'm doing this is because this ratio now is going to be for an empty rally. If I try to send this to an empty rally, like look at the difference between the infantry and cavalry numbers on these. You see the difference? So what it's going to do is it's going to populate this many infantry and cavalry first and give me less archers. So I'll have 97,000 archers here, but if I sent this as an empty rally after already sending out this march, instead of me getting the 97 I have here, I would get 11,000 less. So I would only get 86,000 archers here. Now, this is what you would do if you're doing a typical bear pit, but we have recently set up our bear pit to where we're doing our top players as only a 50% march. So I'm going to have all of these. So this is going to go down to 13. And then this is going to go down to 36. All right, and then I'm going to save these. So I can only join with a half march when I'm doing my rallies. Or my joiners, which is perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that. A lot of top alliances in the game do this. So and the reason they do it is because it gives it to where more people can join the rally, and it actually increases the overall damage of your bear pit. Everybody's going to be joining with 6 marches. There's not going to be anybody with only 2 or 3 or 4 marches being sent out, and the top players' rallies are going to be able to get more people in them. And the way that the damage formula works, your troops, even at 50% of their capacity, are doing 70% of their damage. So if you're doing half of your troops and everybody else is doing half of their troops, then you're getting twice as many people in the rally, and you're getting, 70% damage for all of those people. So you're ending up with a lot more, roughly 40% more total bear pit damage in that rally, just because everybody's doing a half march. So anyway, now I'm set up for bear pit, and I will show you the results of that in the next video today. If you feel like you learned something, like and subscribe.